Hey everybody, this video is going to show you how to create a working drawing using the OnShape CAD program. Okay. Just to demonstrate it, I'm going to open up a basic object for you. That way you're able to just see how to import the object, add dimensions, and then also shade in some stuff. Okay. So I'm going to open up our whole practice, the one I went over when we were creating holes. And so I'm going to open that up. Okay, so here's the object. You can choose any object that you're going to end up making. So whatever it is that you choose to do, just make sure that you are choosing the one that you want to make a drawing of. Got hide tools here. Okay, so when I'm done and I'm ready to make my drawing, my working drawing. Down here at the bottom, it says Insert New Element. Okay, so I'm going to click on Insert New Element. And then I'm going to create a drawing, and that's located right here. Once you are in here, I'm not sure you're going to have any recently opened ones. So if you go to OnShape, I'm just going to use the first one. This is in inches. Okay, so if you are doing the bracket or something that is done in millimeters, you're going to want to choose the other template because then it's going to give you millimeters instead of inches. But since I used inches to create this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the drawing that uses inches as well. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. All right, so because I had my part open, you can see that my part is ready to be imported right here. Okay, if you have multiple parts in one file, you should be able to see the parts in here as well, which is great because then you can just put them all in the same drawing if you have to. Okay, but because we're dealing with one part, I only have one part here. So I'm going to click on my one part, for part one, and I'm going to go ahead and insert my front view. And so the front view usually goes in the bottom left corner here. So I'm going to click. Okay, so that's my front view. If I move my mouse over to the right, this is going to be my side view. So I'll click again. Okay, now I have my front and my side view. Now I have to click here to select that object again. And now when I move my mouse up, I can do my top view. Now notice I'm starting to get some details because that's the first view. I'm going to click where I actually have some information. Okay, I'm going to click on my front view again. And then I'm going to drag over to this corner piece, and this is where I'm going to place my isometric view. Remember, isometric means equal sides for my 3D view. I'm going to click, and that's going to place my object. Okay, so now I have all my views, which is great. Okay, now I'm going to hit the escape button because I don't want to be placing any more views. What I do want to see are some hidden views. Okay, so if I right-click this, I can view properties. Okay, and so from here, I have a bunch of different options. Okay, so view orientation, this is my front view. Okay, that's what I want. If this is too small or too big, I can change that. So notice if I go like 1:1, my scale goes up. So that's like the actual size 1:1. 1:2 gets smaller. If you want it bigger, right, you go the other way. So it's like 2:1, 3:1, and you can get it a lot bigger. So depending on how big your object is, you're going to want to change the size of that accordingly. Tangent edges, we're going to do solid. So we're not going to be changing that. Best performance is fine. And front label. Okay, so that's all there. Now to show my hidden lines, I right-clicked on my object, I'm going to go ahead and click on hidden lines. Notice that now it shows my holes. I can also do that here. In this case, it's not going to make any sense because you're going to be overlapping. So I think it's almost better just to leave the hidden lines on this one. I could right click and show hidden lines again on this as well. But I'm not going to do that. Okay. I don't know why it's like kind of going off my screen here. That's kind of weird. If I zoom out. Okay, so there's my hidden lines. This 3D view I want shaded. So if I right click on that, I can do show shaded view. That's what I want. Shade it in because that's the most realistic view. And now I'm ready to put in my annotations. Okay, so my dimensions are right here. The thing you want to remember with dimensions is, first of all, you don't ever dimension the 3D view. Secondly, you want to dimension enough where someone could make this object if they got this blueprint or this working drawing. But you don't want to over dimension where you're relabeling things. So what do I mean by that? So let's just start dimensioning. So if I click here and I say this line is this height, right? I wouldn't want to go and say this height is 2 also, because I already know that from this dimension right here. This is the height, this is the height. Okay? Just like if I were to do the width here, so let's go ahead and click, and I'm going to do the width of 4, or sorry, the length. This is also 4. The length is also up here, right? But I don't need to relabel that because I already have it down here. These lines all match up with each other. So this line matches up with this line. These lines match up with the lines in the Now the width, I don't have on this view, so I would have to click my dimension, and I would have to label my width over here. You can then get specific with the holes. Okay, so you can say, you know, the depth right here is the diameter of my hole. This outer one is the diameter of the countersink part, so the outer one here. And that's the same thing over here. Here's my hole. Here is my counterboard. Okay, and then if I click on this one, that's my hole. Now they happen to be the same, but it is important that you mark those as well. Okay? And really, with all that information, minus the fact that the countersink you have to have the angle at which it's at, you have all the information that you need in order to make this block, which is pretty neat, just by those dimensions that I've included. Okay? So that is actually correctly done. Now, could I have dimension down here? Sure. You could have, but I just figured maybe all the holes are up here. It's easier to see. I have my height, length, and width on the bottom part. It just makes it kind of easier to follow along. Okay. The last piece that we have to talk about, and I'm going to escape out of that tool, is our title block. Okay. Notice it pre-populates my name and the date that I've done it. We're not going to do checks and approvals, but what I would like to do is add a title in here. So I'm going to right-click these blank spaces. I should undo that because I didn't mean to do the drawing one. I just want to delete these lines here. So I'm right-click and delete. And if I double-click this one, I can then type in here. So the title of this was just full practice. So I can title that. You know, you can change the size and the font. Hit OK. And that's really all you have to do down here. It gives you the scale that you used for your drawing, which is great, right? So you don't even have to put that in. It populated that for you. And that's really it. Now, if there were other views that might be important to your drawing or other pieces, you can always put those in too. a majority of what we're going to be doing is single objects where you would do a front, top, and side view. Okay, and that's your working drawing. So just being able to do this, this is what you're going to be submitting. Okay, so to submit this, you're going to have to actually make this into a PDF. So what I do is I go to these lines here and I say print. I'm going to put this in like a PDF editor. I'm not sure if you guys have Adobe or not, but it should be something like this. And so then when you end up printing it, where the destination is, you can change that to save as a PDF. Once you save this as a PDF, I'm going to ask you where to save it, I think on your Chromebook. I can save that. And now when I'm going to submit it, I'm going to turn in that PDF that I saved. Mine happened to be on my desktop. Yours is going to save probably to your downloads or your files. Okay? And that is creating a working drawing.